From Studio 3 at Buzz TV, it's The Horse's Mouth with Tom McManus.
Hi, welcome into The Horse's Mouth here at Tommy Max, where everybody's welcome to have a seat at my bar and tell their story about what they're doing, all the great things that they're doing out there. It's Biz Champions time, so my pal Major Harding is here at the bar, which is always a great thing. Brought to my good friends at Foodies Care, helping the homeless and the hungry right here in Northeast Florida. They're a great organization. We're honored to have them on board. We're going to talk with some old friends, some new friends, talk a little design. We're going to talk about something that I don't know yet. I wanted to wait until we introduce her and she can tell us about Team Pegine, and we'll get into that in just a moment. But let's welcome in the panel. Patrick Carter's up first from 63 Visual.
Hey, Tom.
Patrick,
Good
how
to
are
see
you?
you?
Friend?
Doing really well.
Good
Thank
to
you.
see you outside the dance world.
Right.
Yeah. How you doing, man? Tell us about 63 Visual.
Yeah, well, so 63 Visual is, I've been in business about going on 17 years now.
Yep.
I'm a Neptune Beach native. I've been here my whole life. And, I was very fortunate that from a young age, I always knew I wanted to do design.
Okay.
I didn't have to figure out what I wanted to do. So I'm a UNF alumni. While I was at UNF, I actually started working at advertising agencies while I was in college here in San Marco.
Yeah.
So I spent about 6-7 years working at advertising agencies out here. And really the ultimate goal was to have my own design studio. And working for the advertising agencies, I was really able to cut my teeth and learn about the industry, but I also learned the things that I didn't really like about it or the things that I wanted to change. Because working in an advertising agency, there's a lot of different people, a lot of communication touch points, some inefficiencies, that type of thing, which has its place.
Yeah.
But what I wanted to do was to bring creativity and direct communication right to the customer for small to medium-sized businesses.
Customize it more.
Right. Well, more of a boutique brand studio, not selling advertising, not doing email blasts, really focusing on brand, package design, website development, that type of thing.
Okay.
So instead of playing the telephone game of an agency where an account executive would talk to the client and then relay that to the art director and they would relay that down to the junior designer, a lot gets lost in translation there.
Yeah.
I like the direct communication component of it because it's more efficient and it's better operational efficiency and better results for the client.
For sure.
Yeah, absolutely, man. That's fantastic. Really hands-on.
Yeah,
I probably
absolutely.
feel like they're not just some number. Like they're, I can't stand when you talk. Like sometimes car dealer, you're just a number. You're not a person.
Right.
You know what I mean, I want to be a person. I want you to care about what I'm bringing to the
Well, that's
table.
one of the most important things to me about the work that I do is that I work in just every industry imaginable. And it's really fascinating because I get to dig in and learn about these industries that I otherwise wouldn't have known about.
Yep.
One example I could give is one of my clients is a horse shampoo client.
Yeah.
I never knew anything about horses or shampoo. So I get to learn about this and learn about their audience and the people that are their potential customers and what makes the product quality and USA made and all that type of stuff. So there's that's just one example because it's so strange, but there's so many different industries that you get to learn about.
Yeah, you got to dig in to really figure out their branding.
Right, exactly. It happens
Branding's
first.
hard.
Yeah,
Branding
well, that
can be
happens
hard.
first. I learn about the industry. I learn about what makes them tick, what makes them different than their competitors, and then I get to do the fun part of making it look really cool.
Yeah, that's great, Patrick. Great to have you on the show, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
For sure. All right, Pegine Echevarria is here. Did I get it from Team
We'll go with Pegine.
Echevarria.
Nina, the Pinta, the Santa Maria, the Nina, the Pinta, and
Echevarria.
Hey, we got it. We got
Hey,
it.
Tom.
That's awesome.
Good to see you.
That's
All right,
so
tell us
good.
about Team Pegine, if you
So,
would.
Team Pegine, we've been in existence for almost 35 years. We
Okay.
are a leadership development company,
Okay.
and we've worked with 15% of the Fortune 500 companies. We've worked to all branches of the military, done large-scale training
Cool.
for the military on leadership, communication. Our biggest was working with 20,000 officers who had been in Iran and Afghanistan and needed some development training to look at how do you work with peacekeeping communities.
Oh, wow.
And so we had 50 role players and they went through training and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We've done massive events, things in the White House.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
we
How'd
were,
you get into that? Way back when?
honestly, it's been this magnificent, phenomenal journey.
Yeah.
So I had been, I'm a New Yorker originally. Now
Yep.
I'm a Jacksonvillian.
Right.
Born, I'm not bred, I'm bred, but now I'm.
Yeah.
So I started because I was in direct sales. I was a president of a direct selling company. And I was really fascinated about most of our clientele was women. and my sales force was women. We had 350 sales
Okay.
women. So one of the things that was going on was how were we supporting them to be their highest best, and how were they supporting themselves
Right.
to be their highest
doubt.
best, right? To
Gotta do
sell
that.
more, to be more confident.
Yep.
And that led me to leave that company and decide to go for my master's in social work, not to be a therapist.
Right.
I'm more like the share kind, snap
Right.
out of it, right?
Yeah.
But I wanted to understand organizations. I wanted to understand how was the organizations working? How were they helping people grow? That led to me doing some non-for-profit work, which led me to getting the attention of Montel Williams and all the talk shows. I've been on every talk show back then.
Oh, cool.
Except for Oprah
Yeah.
and Jerry Springer. But everybody else.
That's the spectrum, isn't it?
Everybody else, you know, from,
That's
and
great.
I was on Montel Williams 32 times. We won an
Yeah.
Emmy with some shows. And it was always about then looking at women and talking to women. And then the one that pulled me aside, he pulled me in the corner, and Montel's really direct.
Yeah.
And he went into my face and he went, nobody talks like you. Nobody says things like you. Nobody acts like you. You need to be out there speaking.
Yeah.
I had no idea what he was talking about. But he was kind enough to be my mentor, guide me. And so then I started speaking, and then
Give you that
people started
platform.
hearing me.
Yeah.
And I spoke, the way I got to the military was one of the highest ranking Navy officers happened to be at a conference that I was speaking at. And he came to me and he said, we need you. You're just, so then I spoke to all areas of the Navy and then everybody else.
Yeah.
And then that's how I got to, so today I work with primarily big organizations, women, executives and leaders, the CEOs of those companies that want usually their daughters to thrive. And so that's where I come in, and
That
I
is
have a blast.
fantastic. So let me ask you this, Major. Describe great leadership.
It starts at the top, and you have to learn how to delegate, and you have to choose the right people around you. And it's like building a football team.
Yeah.
You know, you got to have the right guys, and then you got to have the subs that can come in if somebody falls down.
Right.
But running a general construction company for 40 years, you kind of have to figure it out as you go. But you know, it starts with me making good decisions.
Yeah.
And you make some bad ones along the way, and you learn from it.
Yeah. Patrick, how about you? What would you say?
Well, that's pretty good, Major. I like that. So yeah, I'm really into like personal growth. I always have been. I started as a teenager listening to Dale Carnegie, you know, How to Win Friends and Influence People. It's a great sales book. It's a great life book. You know, you can parent with it, all that type of thing. You know, Tony Robbins is an all-time great, you know, so all that stuff. It's like, you know, to be a great leader, I think that you got to be willing to kind of jump in and get your hands dirty too. When I was in college, I worked at Outback, and that was the glory days of Outback when it was really, it was something different back then. And we had a proprietor, which what they called the GM back then. And he ended up becoming a joint venture partner for Bonefish in Tallahassee, which is like a regional manager type thing. But he started as the dishwasher, you know, and that type of stuff. And then you watched him work on the line. He's back there slinging food, you know, $30,000 sales night for dinner on Mother's Day or something like that. He's back there slinging food, and he'd be like, "Hey, get this dish tub," and you know, a waiter would be like, "Oh, I'm too busy." He's like, "I got it."
Right.
Boom, and then he's washing dishes, you know. So that always stood out to me as leadership. Instead of trying to bark orders or demand certain things, be willing to do it and lead by example. You know, which is kind of a cliche, but it really is true.
No, it's totally true. I would say, because I've had some great leaders. My parents were great leaders. Coach Coffin. Most of my coaches were great leaders. All I ever wanted from a leader is be consistent. Just be you. And you can be hard on me, you know, but don't be one way one day and then try to be another way the next day. And then, because then I'm walking in not knowing what to expect. One thing about Coffin, Tom Coffin, the great coach, like, you knew what every day was going to be like. And he would be so regimented that you just had to follow those rules or you would be left aside. Now, why would you follow a guy like that? Because at 10 o'clock at night, his office light is still on. He's still working. I remember BC coming home from the bars at like 12:31, whatever. His light would still be on, working, because the stadium was right there on campus. You're like, this guy's dedicated to winning.
But you know what else he also was?
Yep.
Is he knew you. He got to know, and I think that's something that leadership is critically important. He got to know what made you drive. What was
Great
your
point.
motivator? What was
Great
you
point.
who you were? He's the kind of person that doesn't just sit back and I'm going to tell you.
Right.
He really spends time
He does.
looking in your eyes,
Trying to figure it
see
out.
where you
Yeah.
are, and I think
Make
that-
those connections.
Make those, and you
Yeah.
know, our failures when we're in business, and
Yeah.
trust me, I've had some, is
Yeah.
when I got in my way
Yeah.
and I didn't trust or hear or listen
Yeah.
to my team to understand what makes you rock, what makes you motivated, what makes you
Right.
tick. And you know, we always also learn is, you know, hire slow,
Yeah.
fire fast. You
Yeah.
know, like
Oh yeah.
I
Yeah.
can't, if you don't
Yeah.
want to change,
Yeah.
I can't change you.
That's right. No, right.
You
Yeah.
have to be willing to
Yeah,
do
you know, that's a great point, Peggy. So I believe the most successful, just talk sports here, football, the most successful organizations, their leader has a room full of guys that thrives under that style of leadership. Okay. So here's what I mean. So Coughlin was hard on you. Well, guess what? All the guys that he had in there, that's how they were brought up. Pretty similar to how he was coaching. And you had to have that. You had guys that weren't, they're like, can't take it. The guy's yelling at me. He's doing this. Other guys are like, yeah, my dad yelled at me. It's no big deal. Like, you perform well. He's going to hug you if you don't. He's going to crack you. No big deal. You know what I mean? And look at Doug Peterson, who was a great coach, won a Super Bowl in Philly, came here and sputtered. Why? Because he was more like, be a pro. I'm not going to come over your shoulder. I'm not going to hammer you. You're the pro. You're a professional athlete. I expect you to do it, but you got to have veterans that will do it. Self-starters, not a bunch of young guys that are waiting for someone to lead them. You know what I mean? So leaders of companies, and it's really hard to do. I got to manage because all the candidates, but you got to find the ones that react to how you are as a leader, right? That's how you can make that
It's
smooth.
chemistry.
It's
It's
chemistry.
yeah.
One of my best bosses,
Love it.
he was up here, I was way on. I was actually the receptionist
Yeah.
of Pierre Cardin Gant. And the president of the organization would come in and he would sit behind me with his paper.
Yep.
And everybody would be coming in and hello. And he was evaluating how, three things he was evaluating, which I learned later as I got promoted, was one, how is this staff treating the lowest person?
Yep. Yeah.
Because that told him what they were going to be like when they were out selling.
Yep.
That they treated the in-house lowest person.
I love it.
Then the second thing that he did was, who are the customers that thought they were the everything and treated me the lowest? And he was just, nobody really knew who he was, you know?
Yeah.
And for him, it
Yeah.
was, he knew which salespeople to put him with
Yeah.
because
The match. It's like a match game.
the one that loved to work with the jerks, they gave him the jerks.
Yeah, right.
And you know, there are
'Cause he
people
can
that
handle
just,
the
yes,
jerks.
he can handle the
Right,
jerks.
it's not a
He
big
knew how
deal.
to do
Right,
it. Was
yeah.
really, really good.
I love it.
And then the third thing, he was watching me because he had
How you
heard
deal
about
with
me, how I
everybody.
was doing that.
Yeah.
He was promoting me here, promoting me there. That was great.
Yeah.
But that was really smart,
That's
right?
cool.
Like it was like undercover boss, but
Yeah.
I knew who he was.
No, right.
But I was always shocked that nobody else knew
So
who he
good.
was.
That's how it should be done. No
So
question.
what have you done with your team? Like, what are some of the tricks that you've done that people have told you, this is so good?
Just training them up. There's a right way to do things. There's a wrong way to do things. So, and I would tell my guys, okay, we're building retaining walls on the side of the highway. I said, if it takes an extra hour to make it right, so we don't have to come back and spend 2 more hours.
That's right.
Once the inspector says, hey, what's going on with this? I said, take the time to make it right.
Yeah.
I mean, so that was always it's going to cost us a lot more to go back and fix it or to make, if it shows up on a punch list or something. So make sure it's not going to show up on a punch list.
Yep.
Make it good.
That's right.
Absolutely.
I love it.
We have used professional role players when we're doing coaching. So we coach leaders who want to be better leaders. And I'll find through time, like their weak spots and stuff. So the ending is we bring professional role players and I hire people to role play the ones that are going to poke them because I need them to know how to be steady when they're being poked.
Yeah, right.
Right. And
I'm not good at that, by the way. Being steady when I'm
Being
both.
steady. Well,
There's
let
no
me bring
steadiness.
let's bring some role players in, and we'll work with you on that. So at least you look steady.
Right. Well, I can speak to
That's
that actually
great.
too. Going back to the Outback analogy in the leadership part. So I have some web developer employees. Like I'm not a web developer by nature,
Yeah.
but I did come up in the early 2000s when designers had to be developers too. People didn't understand each other the roles. So I hire my developers because based on their expertise. But sometimes they're not quite doing it right or not doing it. But I know enough to kind of get in there and say fix and say, hey, look, here's how it should be done. You know, so it's kind of like the dish tub example of like the general manager doing the dishes. You know, I'm kind of like saying, I'll jump in and say, look, here's how it should be. And they're like, oh, okay, well, and then they value that. And they tell me, they're like, thanks for doing that. Now I get it. And I'm going to do it this way. And these developers I've worked with for like 15 years probably.
Yeah.
So we know each other really well and we work together really well.
Yep.
And, you know, I don't lead a big team, but it's like, it does bring gratification to kind of work with them and know that they respect the work and I respect them and that type of thing. There's a mutually beneficial component to that.
That's a good combination for sure. All right, guys, thanks so much for being here. Really appreciate it. Happy 4th of July.
4th.
Yeah, happy
Safe,
250
safe
years.
250 year celebration.
Touchdown.
Thanks for
Celebration.
being here. All right, that'll do it for us this time around here on The Horse's Mouth. Make sure you check out their profiles. When you go to the dailynewsnetwork.com website, you'll see this episode, their names underneath. Click on them, and you'll go right to their page, and you have a chance to figure out or learn more about them, maybe figure out how to connect with them, et cetera, et cetera. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, stay safe, be cool out there, and have a wonderful 4th of July. Cheers.